Hello everyone, and welcome to Dream Team. I'm Trent Lenkarski.
And I'm Alice Langlois.
And we're back. We're a little late, but we're back.
Yeah, sorry about that. Here's finally getting around to episode 3.
Yeah. I was a little sick for a little bit, so that's kind of why we took a break. You can probably tell by my voice I still have a little congestion. But yeah, we are back and we're ready to go.
Yeah, always remember, take a little break if you're feeling sick. Don't make yourself do work.
Yeah, very true.
It'll help you feel better.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I'm glad that you're feeling better now. Being sick is not fun for anyone.
Thank you. Yeah, for sure. It was not fun.
But we're all better now. And I was thinking, we were just talking before we started the podcast about how sometimes when you get sick you could lose your sense of smell and taste.
Yes.
I thought it was funny because I have some weird dreams to share about taste.
Oh, interesting.
I figured I'd go first this week because I think you did last time.
Yeah, perfect.
So let's jump right into it.
Yeah, let's go.
I don't really ever experience tasting in dreams. I don't think it's ever really been central to my dreaming experience. It's usually just like seeing stuff and maybe hearing things. But every time I taste something in a dream, it's always very visceral because it's such an odd experience for me. And I had one last night. One of maybe 2 that I've ever had in my life where I've tasted something.
Whoa.
Yeah, it was very bizarre. And I'm going to talk about 2 dreams just because they're both very short, and I only recorded them because of the taste, not the story. So I don't really remember much about what happened last night. I was doing I think some kind of maybe dark magic or something.
Whoa. Uh-oh.
I was doing some kind of weird ritual. I was at
In real life?
No.
Oh.
Not in real life.
Oh, okay.
I only do good magic in real life.
Oh, okay.
But I was at some sort of sacred pool, and I was putting things into it. All I remember, I was putting these poor little dead baby birds in the pool, and then this weird these sort of donuts of glowing blue jelly stuff, and I was putting them in there. And that's all I really remember about the narrative aspects of the dream. But right at the very end, I was at a store, maybe buying ingredients for this weird ritual I was doing. And I was right near the front of the store, the cash register, and there was a box of just cluttered objects. And I pulled out a metal cylindrical container, kind of like Blue Diamond almonds. You know how they come in a cylinder that's metal with a plastic top?
Right.
Yeah. So it was like that. It was blue. It was very small. The brand was Emery, Emerie, and there was a picture of a sheep on it, and it was sheep salt.
Sheep salt?
As in salt that was sheep flavored. And I was so baffled by this item, and the cashier was like, "Oh, that stuff is really good. You should try some. You could, if you want to just try some, that's totally cool." And I was like, okay. So I opened it up, and it was it just looked like salt, maybe a little bit off-white. Mm. And I took a pinch, and I put it on my tongue, and it tasted, and I don't know how to, explain this, but it tasted like it if you've ever smelled wool.
Mm-hmm.
I do a lot of needle felting, and I have my cat has a little sheepskin bed that she sleeps on sometimes. Wool has a very particular smell. It's not necessarily good or bad, but it does kind of smell like an animal. Kind of musky. Mm-hmm. And it tasted like salt and that.
Whoa.
And it was very, it's exactly like I would imagine something like that would taste like. It was umami, salty, and a little off, a little strange off animal-y kind of taste.
That's so interesting.
And then I woke up, and I immediately Googled sheep salt.
Is it real?
And, well, there's salt for sheeps.
Oh, like a salt block.
Like you can buy a block of salt for sheep that has like
Right.
stuff in it for them. That's good for them. So I don't think
nutrients.
There's no sheep salt.
Not yet.
And I'm glad for it.
Everyone, we're proud to announce our first sponsor.
Emery sheep salt.
No, not really.
It was really weird that the brand was like stuck in my head too.
Yeah.
Like I remember it was like a blue background container. There was a picture of like a sheep in a field with the background cut out, so it was just like the blue of the container, and then all lowercase white font, Emery, and then like the nutrition facts or whatever. It was totally bizarre.
Yeah.
And then as I was reminiscing on it this morning, I remembered there was one other dream I had years ago that I wrote in my dream journal, which I have right here.
Oh.
And I didn't write really anything about the dream itself, but I wrote a recipe, which is wild.
What?
So if any of I haven't made this, mostly because there's a very particular ingredient that I don't know how I would find. But if any of our listeners want to try making this, I have the instructions right here. This is a very interesting dream because my dream journal has little checkboxes in it where you can check off how you were feeling. And the most common ones for me are like fear or joy or like a sense of purpose usually.
What are the other options? I'm just curious.
Fear, humiliation, freedom, joy, frustration, grief, paralysis, surprise, loss of self, love, confusion, vulnerability, arousal, anger, panic, or you can write in your own.
Interesting.
And I checked off confusion for this one, which I thought was funny because I don't think I've ever checked that one off before. And also, for the dream category, I checked off the category just plain bizarre. So, here is this recipe. The preface is, I don't really remember the dream, but I was in a weird version of the Met, which is my college cafeteria, with a bunch of familiar people. Here's something I ate. It's called a dream wrap. That's just what I called it after I wrote it down. It makes 1 serving. You need 1 small naan or flatbread, a large scoop of whipped cream or mascarpone, fresh sweet blueberries, and very small, emphasis on very small, chocolate-covered pretzels. Fold blueberries and pretzels into cream, spoon mixture into bread, and fold gently. Can be served warm or cool. Top with more blueberries and enjoy.
Awesome.
I've never made it because the chocolate-covered pretzels were so small. They were smaller than the blueberries. They were like really like.
Oh my goodness.
Like tiny, and I don't think I could ever find something like that.
That's so interesting.
Yeah, I mean,
sounds good.
That is something I would try. Like that sounds good to me.
Yeah, it sounds good to me too. Yeah.
I'm a sucker for whipped cream or like sweet cheese. So before I leave you with that though, I do need to mention this. I was looking up dream foods, and I only found one on Wikipedia. It's called King's Hand. And I am absolutely going to put a picture of this on our Instagram because it looks insane.
Okay.
King's Hand is a dessert made of M&Ms and cookie dough, molded into the shape of a hollow hand and filled with Greek salad.
What?
It was invented by a 28-year-old data analyst who says the idea for the dish came to him in a dream, in which it was the main course of a festival feast. And apparently the reason it's on Wikipedia is because it seems to have gotten big on like Twitter or like social media, and like then other people started making it, and that's why.
Oh my goodness, how? That's crazy.
It sounds so gross, but
yeah.
Maybe, hey, if anybody wants to try making my like dream wrap, let's make it a thing.
How do you make the tiny pretzels though?
I don't know. I mean, look, I guess I would be okay if they were like whatever's the smallest chocolate-covered pretzel you could find. Mm-hmm. There has to be like mini chocolate-covered pretzels, right?
Yeah. I feel like that would be a thing.
Yeah. It just has to be, as long as it's smaller than like a normal sized snack pretzel, I feel like I would be okay with that. I'm not copywriting this, so.
No, do it.
Dream Wrap TM only sold at Dream Food locations near you.
Only sold in Alice Dream.
Dreamway, which is Dream Subway, where we only sell sandwiches that people have dreamed about.
Dreamway, Dream Fresh.
Just has all the nastiest ingredient combinations possible. And sheep salt.
Mm.
Anyway, those are my weird taste dreams.
Amazing.
Thank you. What about you?
So I have a bit of a longer one. It's very bizarre.
Would you say it's just plain bizarre?
Yeah.
It's a category in my dream journal. Sorry.
Oh, okay. I thought it was like a song or something. I didn't know.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. But yes, it's just plain bizarre. So I had this dream back in early October of last year, of 2022. And it mainly takes place at my friend Brooks's house. Brooks is a really close friend of mine. I feel like he was on my mind a lot in October because I got him and his wife married. So I feel like that's why it was kind of like focused on kind of him and his house, mainly his house. But so it was like midday. We're in the dream now. So it was in the dream.
Whoa.
It was like, what?
Whoa, we're in the dream now.
Yeah. Surprise. So it was like midday, and I walked to his house and went inside, and he has a couple different roommates, and he has one roommate who has a dog, and it's just a very distinct looking dog. It's kind of like a pit bull mix where it just has this very nice like gray short fur like on its face and like all on its back and everything. Just a really distinct looking dog. But for whatever reason in the dream, it was like just a really ugly Chihuahua. So they're like, yeah, they let me inside and the dog was like barking, and I was like, oh, whose dog is this? And they're like, oh, it's her dog. And they're like, no, it's not. That's not what the dog looks like. And the dog's name's Penny, and I was like, that's not what Penny looks like. But so that was one part of it, and then I ended up just talking with that roommate for like a decent amount of time, and then there's like two other women like showed up, and I don't know who they were, but they were just talking, like almost like talking at me about like romance and love, but they were doing like the kind of thing that some textbooks do, where it's just this really strong vocabulary for no reason, like this very like high IQ like vocab, and I'm like, I don't know what you guys are talking about. And so like having this long conversation with me, and I'm like, I don't know what's happening. So I left. I just like went outside, but it was like, it was just like a distorted version of the house. So it was like, I like went outside, but then it like almost immediately became like nighttime, and it was like in a forest behind the house. But it's like we live in LA, so in real life his house is surrounded by like apartment buildings. So it's just going outside, and then it's nighttime, and then there's trees like everywhere. And then there was like a group of deer outside, and like I think the door like slammed behind me, and like they all ran away, except for one of them. And then like I just like went up, it was like there was like a back porch there too. So like I went up on the back porch, and the deer was just like still there, like looking at me. And it was just like a normal deer, but it just had really large antlers. And then like shortly after, it kind of like came up on the deck and was like almost like trying to like pin me against like the side of the house.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was really freaky, and it scared me quite a bit. But it just kept doing that, and somehow it turned into the deer was like driving a car also on the deck, and it was like trying to like back me over, like run me over with the car. I know, it's so weird. But it didn't make sense spatially, because it was like a deck, and it was like a car like trying to like run me over. But eventually I managed to like hide and get to a safe place from it, I think, or so I thought, because then I I like woke up in like an almost like in another dream, and it had kidnapped me. The deer like kidnapped me because I woke up on like in like the back of a school bus almost, but it was like just me and the
Oh,
deer.
creepy.
Yeah, and the deer was driving the bus. I guess it like didn't have the huge antlers, or it might have been a different deer. I don't know. And then I was like worried again because it was daytime. Because it was like at the beginning of the dream it was daytime, and then it was nighttime when I went out back, and then it was daytime again. And I like looked at my watch and it said like 9 p.m. And I was like, what is going on? What time is it? It was
Whoa.
just so disorienting. Um, I wrote here in my notes, I said, I was worried that I got kidnapped and flown to a different time zone. So, that's what I wrote, like right after I had the dream. So,
That's like a really like astute observation to have like while you're in a dream. I feel like I wouldn't have
hmm,
like been with it
yeah.
enough to think as far as like, wow, they've taken me really far away. I probably would have just been like, my watch is wrong. What's going.
Uh, cool. Interesting. I don't know.
That's a terrifying realization though. Like, am I in like Australia?
Yeah. So I was like super confused by that. Um, and then I kind of like an action movie, I like snuck up behind the deer driving the bus and like, grabbed it around its neck or whatever. And I was like, who are you? What are you doing? Why are you taking me?
Oh my
um,
gosh.
and it was like, and it just said like, I don't know what voice it had, but I guess it told me it was like that its boss wanted it to kidnap like YouTubers and creative people. and and it was gonna and for like each person they would get like $5,000, and I was like, that's it. And then I woke up.
Do you feel like as a YouTuber you're worth more than $5,000?
I feel like as a person I'm worth more than $5,000. It was just funny. It was like, what?
That's so bizarre.
I was like, why is $5,000 the amount? And then like I like started laughing to myself in the dream, and then I woke up.
You're like, this guy
So
doesn't know what he like. Oh man.
yeah, I feel like that's
Because you
the
just be like, you're getting severely undercharged, my dude.
yeah. So that was mine. I feel like that's very epitome of dreams. Like you just got weird
Mm-hmm.
spatial stuff, and things aren't what they are. The dog wasn't the real dog, and talking deer, kidnapping,
Yeah, that's
dream stuff.
absolutely. That is a quintessential dream right there.
Yeah.
It reminded me of the episode of Adventure Time where everyone in the Candy Kingdom gets kidnapped by a deer. Have you ever seen that one?
No, I still haven't seen Adventure Time.
Trent.
Trent bad guy moment. Yeah,
There are so many
I
good
will.
episodes of Adventure Time that deal with the dreams and dream logic, and in a really like accurate way, I think, to how real dreams happen. I would highly recommend. But I don't think it'll spoil anything, but I already said it. There's an episode of Adventure Time where everybody gets kidnapped by a deer, and
Mm.
I think it's everybody gets kidnapped besides Finn and Jake, I think,
Okay.
and they wake up with like amnesia and they don't know where anybody is or what happened, and they're both injured, severely injured, and they don't know how it happened.
Oh.
And they keep seeing this deer around, and like they can't find anybody in the Candy Kingdom. And I think Jake specifically has like a head injury, so he's kind of like going crazy a little bit.
Mm.
And Finn is like trying to get away from him because he's like, dude, you're crazy, and Jake's trying to like keep him like to himself in this weird little fantasy world that's happening in his head because he has a brain injury or something.
Huh.
Anyway, there's this like very famous scene from that episode where they confront this deer that just looks like a normal deer, and then all of a sudden it stands up on two legs and takes off its hooves, and there's little hands. And it
Oh, I've
attacks
seen
them.
that. I have seen that
Yeah.
clip.
Yeah, it's a really fucking creepy episode.
Cool. I'll have to watch it.
Yeah.
That show is next on my list of shows to watch. So, yeah, I'm watching regular show now.
I know, I need to finish regular show.
It's so good. Whoa!
Whoa!
I like that show a lot.
Hey, I have a dream fact for you.
Whoa! Whoa.
And it goes a little something like this. Da da na na 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 da 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 da.
Tetris.
Yes. Have you ever heard of the Tetris Effect?
Yes, I have, and I just experienced it like 2 weeks ago. That's so crazy.
Oh my gosh, because it's happened to me too.
What?
I was really excited to find out if it had ever happened to you, because it's happened to me at least once or twice in my life.
It's happened to me a lot, yeah. Many times.
For our listeners who have never heard of the Tetris Effect, it occurs when people devote so much time and attention to an activity that it begins to pattern their thoughts, mental images, and dreams. It takes the name from the video game Tetris, but it can happen with all sorts of other things. People who have played Tetris for a prolonged amount of time can find themselves thinking about ways different shapes in the real world can fit together, such as the boxes on a supermarket shelf or the buildings on a street. They may see colored images of pieces falling into place on an invisible layout at the edges of their visual field, or when they close their eyes. They may see such colored moving images when they are falling asleep, a form of hypnagogic imagery, and this part is what really gets me sometimes. Those experiencing the effect may feel they are unable to prevent the thoughts, images, or dreams from happening.
Yes.
It's a very bizarre phenomenon.
Yes.
It has not happened to me with Tetris.
It has with me.
But it has happened to me with Minecraft.
Me too, yes.
Oh my god, really?
Yes, I've had it with both. And also recently with Premiere, with like editing videos.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever had it happen to me with Adobe. Which is weird because I use those products all the time.
Yeah.
But I have a very visceral memory of like maybe a year or two ago.
Yeah.
I don't know. Whenever the last time I was like regularly playing Minecraft with somebody, I had it for like maybe 3 days where...
Was it with me? Because we played Minecraft like 2 years ago.
It might have been with you. It might have been with like somebody from work or something.
Whoa.
Yeah, I think it was probably with you. And there was like 2 or 3 days where every time I would lay down to go to sleep, my brain would start compulsively thinking in Minecraft imagery.
Mm-hmm.
Like building stuff, or just like everything I tried to think about would look like it was in Minecraft. And it was like...
Whoa.
Kind of disturbing because like it to me it really did feel like it was compulsive.
Yeah.
And my dreams would just be Minecraft dreams, and it was like, yeah, it just felt like unstoppable.
You had it like in dreams?
Yeah.
Whoa. I've never had it like that.
That's why I wanted to bring it up, is because it's like it can happen outside of dreams, but it is like a thing, a phenomenon that people do experience when they're dreaming.
Yeah, I've only had it. It's like severe insomnia almost, where it's like I can't not see these weird shapes, and that's like it just keeps me up.
Yeah, your brain just starts doing it.
Yeah, and it's like you can't make it go away.
Yeah, it's such a weird like. I think it's because like our brains. I'll scan the rest of this article, but I think it's just because like
the patterns.
Our brains are so trained to like recognize patterns.
Right.
Here's something.
Ooh.
It can occur with... People have had it happen with jigsaw puzzles, checkers and chess, Rubik's Cube.
Oh.
That I can totally see that happening. It must be just with like pattern recognition or something.
Yeah. For me, I kind of want to describe what it's like for me when I've had it.
Yeah.
Specifically with Tetris and Minecraft. It's almost like there's like a central point. Like I'll be closing my eyes, like trying to fall asleep, and there's like a central point, and all the shapes just kind of like are like going into that like central shape, and it just like they just keep going and like building out. If that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I can totally like envision that, and it's just so like.
Yeah, like going up and down.
It just feels like your brain is like a machine, like doing it on its own.
Yeah, and the same with Minecraft too, where it'll just be like a weird like central block, and a bunch of blocks will just like add on to it. It's like they're not even like colored like the Minecraft blocks. They're just like cubes.
I think for me it's just more like everything that I'm trying, like I mentioned, it's like kind of everything that I'm thinking of is just now in the visual language of Minecraft, and it's like kind of frustrating.
Yeah.
Where like I'll be like walking around in a field, but it's like not a regular one, it's got to be a Minecraft one. And like some of it definitely did involve like building things and like doing things that you do in the actual game, but a lot of it was just like my brain would not generate any regular imagery. It was just only Minecraft imagery. You now are thinking in Minecraft. Congrats.
That's so cool.
I would love to know if any of our listeners have ever had the Tetris effect, and if so, like, with what, like,
what was it
video
like?
game? Like, has anybody had it with anything else? Or and if so, like, yeah, what was it like for you? Because I don't really know. I had no idea that it ever happened to you. Maybe it's more common than I thought. I thought it was just like a...
I was gonna say, it was interesting that it was like different for both of us, how it is.
Yeah.
And mine was like screensavers almost, like just patterns moving around.
Yeah.
And yours is like immersive more.
Now that I'm thinking back, I definitely have a memory of... And I don't know, I guess I would have to reach out to her to figure out if this would count as the Tetris effect, but there was an old former coworker of mine who had to ask my boss to switch tasks because we were making a bunch of one asset at work for a really large set. So we were building a lot of the same thing over and over again.
Like a tree or something.
Yeah.
You don't have to say what it was, but yeah.
we can say it. We can say it was trees. So we're making this big set and we're making tons and tons of trees, and my coworker went to my boss and was like, "Hey, can I like switch? I know we need to make all these trees, but I need to switch to something else because I can't stop dreaming about them."
Oh.
and not in a good way. She said that they were they were really uncomfortable dreams.
Oh, interesting.
About like making this thing over and over again, and I don't know, like, I feel like it could just be a borderline like stress dream, but the nature of my job sometimes involves repetitive tasks, and I feel like Tetris and Minecraft can both be repetitive kind of games, and that's patterns, and that's what activates the Tetris effect. So I wonder if she was experiencing a weird version of it.
I think so. That totally seems like it. Unless, like you said, unless it was like a stress dream. That sounds like how I had it with like Premiere like a couple weeks ago. Because it was just like, because I was like editing the last episode of this podcast, and then I was editing like a video, and then there was like another thing I was working on. So I was just in Premiere for like like days on end. So like in Premiere, it's just like, colored like lines of the video and lines of the audio. Yeah. So just these like
panels,
repeated, like it just kept like going in my dream, like to the right, like panning to the right. Yeah.
And it's a pattern. I mean, it's a pattern of shapes.
So yeah, it would just like pan like this like blue panel, and then there'd be like little green panels below it and above it, and like it just kept going, and I was like, I can't stop thinking about this.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
And I was up till like 4 a.m. like make it stop. Yeah.
'Cause it is interesting. Like I feel like it, whenever I've experienced it, it is stressful.
Yeah.
Like it's not, I don't know why, it's never like super enjoyable. I think because it feels like I can't stop.
Yeah.
I like Minecraft.
Yeah.
It's a great game.
Love
playing
love video editing.
Minecraft with my buddies, but yeah. When I can't stop thinking in Minecraft,
right.
Not fun. But anyway, yeah. Dream fact. Tetris effect. Probably happens to a lot more people than I realized.
A pleasant surprise. That's a phenomenon that I find really fascinating. So it's cool that was the dream fact. Yeah.
I think it's really cool that we both experienced it.
Hell yeah.
All right. Do you want to move on to some listener submissions?
Yes.
I have been dying to read this first one. It cracked me up the first time I read it, and then when I came back to read it again when I was prepping the episode, I was cracking up all over again. It's such a good one.
Yeah, but before we do that, if you were to send a dream submission to us, you can send that to dreamteampodcastsubmissions
That's right.
at gmail.com. And that is dreamteampodcastsubmissions at gmail.com.
You dream it, we read it. I just came up with that straight off the dome.
That's good. Trademark, copyright. TM.
TM. Yeah, so keep them coming. We need more. So this one comes from our listener, Smeechin. I once had a dream where I was making a soup. I think it was cream of wheat, but I've never had it before. I was at home in the dining room eating the soup when suddenly, through the back door, Darth Vader and a small stormtrooper come in holding huge Italian sausages and a sausage grinding machine. I try to push them out, and I lock the door, but they were too strong. They were setting up their sausage stuff, and I started crying. I woke up, and I think I was crying in real life.
No.
From Smeechin.
Smeechin. They were too strong. Yeah.
I'm sorry for laughing at your tears, but that's just so funny and lovely.
Tried to push them out, but they were too strong. They just...
Oh, Darth Vader and his Italian sausages.
They just had to do it in your house. That's funny. Yeah.
Because it was going to go with the soup. They were like, you're not getting enough protein.
Hell yeah, very good. Yes, thank you.
Thank you, Smeechin.
You said this one's kind of dark, you said? Before I read it. Just like...
Yeah, just, for our listeners, it does have to do a little bit with death and dying, but we would never read something that was, truly, screwed up and disturbing.
Yeah.
This is a sleepy podcast.
So this next one is a little dark. It's a little on the darker side. And this comes from Samuel. Samuel writes, I've gotten a dream that left a mark on me, at least for a while. I'll give a warning because this dream was pretty heavy on the dying. I dreamt that I did some kind of horrible crime. I don't know exactly what I did. I think I killed someone. Anyways, the dream started in an auditorium. I was there among other people, including friends, family, and acquaintances from my life, to see the verdict for my crimes. 3 people sat on the stage, equally spaced apart. They were the ones who'd decide my punishment. I approached each one, begging for mercy for what I'd done, crying as I did so. I knew I did something really bad and I definitely deserved death, but I really didn't want to die. They began announcing the ruling, and they sentenced me to death. I couldn't comprehend at all that my life was about to end. I didn't even have much time to process this as I was about to be brought on stage to be executed. I was weeping so much, and before I went on stage, my partner approached me, and I embraced her. I kept crying in her arms, begging for her forgiveness for all I'd done, but she wasn't mad. She just kept reassuring me and holding me. I was brought on stage and asked for my partner to sit in one of the front rows of the audience so that she could be the last thing I saw. I sat in a regular chair, and I kept asking if it was going to be painful. I was so afraid of the pain. The people handling me explained that I was going to be injected, but they weren't sure if it would be painful. I sat in the chair and felt the needle enter the right side of my neck. I kept looking at my partner, but as the fluid was injected into my body, I felt a sense of fading. My head tilted into the air as I looked up and felt the sensation of death. I wasn't in pain. It felt like I was getting lighter, losing my weight and simply fading. That's the word I'd use to describe dying. Fading. I was fading out of existence. I woke up as I died. I woke up in the middle of the night, bawling my eyes out. I was previously so convinced that I had died. The dream was so realistic that I went a couple of days believing that I should be dead, that I wasn't supposed to be walking around. After all the suffering and strife I experienced in the dream, the death was like a great relief. I truly felt after the dream that I had cheated death, that I shouldn't have been alive. The feeling has since passed, but that is a dream that has affected me the most, and I thought it might be interesting to hear. Anyways, I hope this is interesting. I hope you both have a great day. Thanks, Samuel. Thank you, Samuel. Goodness gracious.
I know that one was a little intense, but I felt that, even though it had to deal with death and dying, it was an unexpected ending, I think, for Samuel. And
hello, everyone. This is post-production Trent. This is mid-edit Trent. For the next like 30 seconds, you can kind of hear Alice's cat sneezing in the background. I thought it was a really good discussion though, so I wanted to keep it in. So if you hear sneezing, it's her cat. So sorry about that. And back to the show.
I have never really. I've had people tell me about dreams where they die, but it's always sudden and violent, and they wake up right away. And I've never heard of somebody have a dream where they kind of get to have that whole process. And I thought it was kind of amazing, and I'm sorry that you had that dream.
Sorry.
It sounded like it was pretty scary, but I don't know. It kind of like it touched me in a way. It kind of like, I don't know. I felt kind of a connection there, because I've definitely had dreams that I wake up and I can't shake it for a really long time.
Yeah, I've definitely had that too. You just go the next couple of days like almost numb. You're like, what the heck?
Yeah. No, I've had dreams where, like, you know, maybe I did something really bad, or somebody did something really bad to me, and for the next few days I don't feel good about it. And the kind of sentiment of, like, I don't feel like I should be alive right now. Something really bad happened in my dream. Like, I totally get that. And I just thought it was kind of amazing how visceral, like,
you described it
your
so
experience was. Yeah. And I honestly, I mean, I've never died before.
Me neither.
Thankfully. And I don't plan on it for a very long time. But I have lost consciousness before. And I've always wondered if that's kind of what dying feels like, and it does feel like you're fading away. So that really, like, spoke to me. Anyway, I thought we would end off on another silly note after that.
Do you have a nice one to brighten us up a little bit?
Yeah, like I said, you gotta have a sad sandwich. You can never end it on a sad note. This one is from William, and it's an entry from their dream journal. So props to you for keeping a dream journal. That's awesome. A dream in which I entered a school on a weekday to find something in this huge office. There's a really wide table in the middle and a mannequin next to the door, kneeling to a phone. It repeats the phrase, "I'm on the phone," through some low-quality speaker as I look around the office. I had the intuition that there was some trick with the mannequin's repeating phrase, which was that if you waited long enough, you'd realize that the recorded line the mannequin was saying was in fact a continuous audio file, rather than a loop. If you wait long enough, the man speaking would begin fumbling his lines until he eventually stammers, leading to the mannequin getting up and chasing me like a B-movie monster while yelling, "I was on the phone!" I woke up laughing.
I like that one.
And that was from William. Just sounds super goofy. And also, like, the imagery of, like, walking around the office and just hearing, "I'm on the phone. I'm on the phone. I'm on the phone."
Yeah.
It's, like, both creepy and hilarious.
I'm on the phone.
It definitely did, like you were saying earlier, it felt like a very quintessential dream where it's, like, kind of off-putting, but also just, like, you can't take it seriously because it's a little bit ridiculous.
It is spooky, though. Being chased by a mannequin. Mannequins are freaky sometimes.
Yeah. I was on the phone!
Yeah, thanks, William.
Thank you, William.
Great dreams this week. Yeah.
Yes, thank you so
definitely.
much. And keep them coming. Remember, you can send them to dreamteampodcastsubmissions at gmail.com. That's dreamteampodcastsubmissions at gmail.com.
Hell yeah. And also, you can also follow us on Instagram at Dream Team with Alice and Trent.
Yeah, keep an eye out. I'm definitely going to be posting a picture of that King's Hand dessert. Because trust me, it looks wild.
I'm excited to see it.
And if I ever end up making my dream wrap, I'll post a picture of that too.
You should.
As soon as I find those mini chocolate covered pretzels, I promise I'll make it.
Is there, like,
and I'll report back.
I wonder if there's like an equivalent to that you could find instead of pretzels.
Like mini chocolate chips.
I guess.
But it was so weird that it was. I'm just gonna Google mini chocolate.
It needs that crunchy element.
Pretzels. Next to my tab, that's salt for sheep.
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting just recipes for chocolate covered pretzels. I know, like, everybody knows how to do that. Oh, Trader Joe's dark and milk chocolate mini pretzels.
Oh, how big are they? You said they have to be smaller than a blueberry, right?
Yeah, like I said, at this point, I kind of don't think that that would be able to be made. I found this listing on Amazon for these Trader Joe's mini pretzels. There's no, like, photos of them in somebody's hand, but they definitely look smaller than a normal pretzel. Maybe I'll have to go to Trader Joe's and see what's up.
You should.
Yeah, there's weirdly few search results for mini chocolate covered pretzels. I feel like, to me, that just sounds like a thing that should exist, but only in dreams. I'm gonna make this happen, trust me.
I can totally visualize it, like the recipe as you described it.
It sounds good. I don't know. It sounds like a trifle or something.
I guess on that note, I think that's pretty much everything for this episode.
Yeah, thanks again for listening. Thank you for your submissions. We hope you get some great sleep this week.
Sweet dreams.
Sweet dreams, everybody. Good night.
Good night.